Rishan. He's in fifth standard, and his question to madam is, what is the one powerful money lesson that you think every student should learn?
Please come.
Rishan, would you like to come to the stage, please? Please come, please come. I'll repeat his question. What is the one powerful money lesson that you think every student should?
I'll hear it from him.
Sure.
Come.
What is the one most powerful money lesson that you think that all children should learn?
What a very touching moment for me this is. Imagine, which class are you in? 5th class. Can I confess something? I wouldn't have thought of this when I was in class 5. How nice. Which school are you in? Saint Aloysius Gonsalves School. Very nice. And I want to be curious more. Actually, is there somebody from the financial sector in your house? Father works in a bank. Mother is in the treasury department of the government. How did it come to you? What does your father do? What does your mother do? Mother's a housewife. Father?
Father is a
Bank manager.
businessman.
Okay. Thank you. Come, go sit down. You can sit somewhere. So that one, first of all, I appreciate the parents for having brought up a child who's conscious of what he has to do on the money side of it. You know, financial awareness can start from class 5. And he is able to confidently tell you what his concern is. That's the kind of consciousness our children should have about money. And I'm really very impressed. In an area which gave a lot of banks, for a young mind to think about it doesn't surprise me, but it is so impressive. The one thing which I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. Was it Syndicate Bank which coming from this region, which had, yes, Syndicate Bank is from this region, I know. But they had a one-liner. Pygmy Bank was their invention, but they had a one-liner. Let your first expenditure be saving or something of that kind. Am I attributing to the right bank? I don't know. The first thing our children should know is money you want to spend, you want to buy a gift, you want to buy a lollipop, you want to buy something. Please, before that, put something in your saving. It can be, the piggy bank scheme was essentially Syndicate Bank. But the first thing the child should be taught and told is to handle money and handle money with a certain responsibility. The question itself is full of, infused with responsibility. What is the first lesson I should know about money? And this day and age, and I will tell you a story from the GST Council. And to my surprise, it's not a BJP minister, finance minister from a Congress-ruled state. Not now, 1.5, 2 years ago. He said that he was frightened because at some point in time, his card was given to his grandchild very quickly to sort something out. Children are very savvy. They can quickly handle these sort of things. His grandchild used the card and was able to sort that day's problem for him. But later, he realized other members of the family were also seeking his help to do the same thing, which is very well so long as it was monitored. Among children, they were probably talking, and some of them thought no harm, because if the father or grandfather has given the card, he is using it, so is my family giving my card, his father's card, and so on. It went suddenly, the bills came so high. And they had to sit and wonder what's happened, who's spending this much money, how the cards have, come up charged with so much. They realized that jocularly, joyfully, a lot of things were happening using the card by the children. Just that one instance when he gave for some help meant that he had the authority to use the card each time. The grandchild didn't have malice in his mind, but he thought he can use it. Dada ne mujhe ek baar diya, so I can handle it. So the rest of them didn't object. But the bill mounted for what? For small games. And he suddenly sat up and said, what have I done to my grandchild? To seek help is one thing. But later the boy thought he was authority enough to use it, but use it for what? For playing games with money in it. And it frightened the person. And after that, he started controlling the use of the card in the house. So earlier days, it was coin you can put into your piggy bank. It was small amount, you went to the shop nearby, bought something. And our neighborhood also was trustworthy. The shopkeeper would say, hey, your child is coming too frequently. Are you giving money? These kind of conversations used to happen. Now, no. It's card or it's QR code. It's easy for us. It's easier for the children. So I would think caution is the word. We need to educate our children, but we also have to make them a lot more responsible. Here's a child who's very responsible to ask it and ask about it in public. But I'm sure all of us have a duty to make sure our children are going to be responsible on this.
Thank you, ma'am. We really appreciate this. The next question is from Mr. K. Akash M. Rao. How is India positioning itself to create a financial ecosystem attractive to foreign companies, replacing China as a manufacturing hub? What impact could the shift of companies like Apple to Southeast Asia have on India's long-term geopolitical and economic standing?
It is very serious an issue that we need to make ourselves a manufacturing hub. And from 2014, Honorable Prime Minister is placing emphasis to make India a manufacturing hub, not just to produce for us, but also to be able to export from here. Various schemes of the government have been shaped and designed for this purpose. Along with the investment, we also want to create jobs. So productivity-linked incentive, employment-linked incentives are all being worked out. Productivity-linked incentives brought us the advantage of electronics and also for mobile manufacturing. And that has really paid off. You're able to see how much we produce today. And 40% of all Apple produced in the world is being produced in India. So those are the ways in which we want to make sure that we give emphasis for production, manufacturing in this industry. The second big example that I will give is about how India, as a big procurer of defense equipments, importer of defense equipments, quite a lot of our foreign exchange used to go for paying for these imports. Today is one of the big producer of defense components, and not only producer, but also big exports of defense equipments are happening from India. It could be large, arms. It can be your BrahMos, but it can also be small components. So I think giving emphasis for defense production, at least 5 years ago, 6 years ago, is now showcasing how it is paying off for us. India is becoming a big producer of defense equipments, and therefore to that extent, extent the payments that are going out are coming down. MSMEs have benefited because of this defense production, and therefore their prospects of growing and also exporting is improving. So I spoke about the mobile and related manufacturing. I spoke about defense related manufacturing. You cannot miss out how the semiconductor industry is also coming into India. India is becoming a big electronic manufacturing hub. That semiconductor ladder itself has so many different levels of productions. Each level is finding interest in India and investments are happening on that. Other than that, very distinct. There was a time when we were encouraging, and today also we encourage renewable energy, solar energy, wind energy, and so on. For that, we used to import a lot of critical components. And getting solar equipments used to come from our neighbor. Today, India supplies solar equipments to countries outside. And that itself is a big shift from depending on equipments from China. Today, we being the big manufacturer and supplier to the world on quality solar equipments. I underline quality solar equipments. So these are not changes which are happening by the way. Active support through policy is happening, and that is why we are able to, build on these capacities. So manufacturing will be our priority.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is from Shri Vasant Hedle. So if you're here, I request you to stand. How will the economic instability and inflation in neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan impact India in the long run? What role can India play in fostering stability and strengthening the broader Asian continent amid these challenges?
Repeat the first line.
I'll repeat it again. How will the economic instability and inflation in neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan impact India in the long run? What role can India play in fostering stability and strengthening the broader Asian continent amid these challenges?
Well, the instability is one thing. Inflation in those countries is another. But India's economy is yet to be integrated completely with these economies. If we had been integrated, greater impact will be there. We are less integrated, and ideally there should be more integration with our neighbors. But instability hitting us is less probable because of this not complete integration. However, for instance, in Bangladesh, there were several of our own investments which had gone there. For instance, textile sector. Because Bangladesh continued to enjoy the GSP preferences, whether with the US or with Europe, many of our textile manufacturers themselves went and invested in Bangladesh, and from there exported and enjoyed the benefit which India no longer enjoys, because we have advanced ourselves as textile manufacturer and exporter. But today, many of them are probably even returning to India and setting up businesses back again. As a result, many of our textile hubs are now buzzing back again because these investments are coming back. So it's a mixed reply. You have prospects by integrating. Sri Lankan economy also has a lot of give and take with us. Energy production, our supplies of food, milk powder, and many such fundamental, primary goods from India going to Sri Lanka are very much an integration question. If we were integrated more, political stability would hit us more. But there is prospect because we are not yet integrated as much. So there is work to be done in our neighborhood.
Thank you, ma'am. Due to the high number of requests that we got from the audience to take one question from the audience who have not put it up in the QR, we'll be opening this to the audience once for one question from the audience. I'd like the volunteers to kindly coordinate and pass the mic.
Namaste, ma'am. How can we influence Latin America, which recently we have been there, especially in Mexico? It's a country which with the terror and whatnot, crime. How do we can influence it? And what could be our northern neighbor and their concubine in the West will tamper it? What is your view on that? That's my personal view. Thank you.
Would you please repeat it?
Oh, sorry. Yes. I'm very bad in communication.
No, I'm not able to grasp because it was quite a very comprehensive picture that you were putting in your question. Please repeat it.
Okay. Very recently you have been to Mexico. I heard it's a 1 month back or whatever it is exactly. I don't know. So how can we influence that economy? It's a crime-based economy, best of my knowledge. And they do have oil or whatever it is that could be the back of my mind or your ministries. And secondly, our northern friend and the concubine on the west can tamper us on our progress in that. And secondly, one more question. The press and media, whatever it is, aiming at Honorable PM, it's hitting on you. How do you react to it? Thank you.
See, I must say, yes, I did go to Mexico, not about 3 weeks ago. Slightly different from what you perceive of what is happening there. They have immensely benefited by the North American Free Trade Area, NAFTA. They are able to export a lot of things because of that free trade agreement they have with the North American countries. And because they are able to export a lot from Mexico, Indian investment in Mexico is also very high, particularly our software industries. The top, let us say 5, 6 top software industries are present there. I in fact went and visited TCS's establishment in Mexico, which are 3 or 4 in 4 different towns, I think. I went to one where they have, after India, the second biggest establishment in Guadalajara. In Mexico, top 5 of our software companies are present and they're doing extremely well. Most of their clients are from North America, meaning Canada, United States of America, to some extent even South American countries. So not just Indian companies, many other companies who have invested in Mexico are doing fine. In fact, Indian companies are not just software. Some pharma companies from India are also there and they're doing well. The nearshoring policy of the United States of America, like with India, they say friend shoring. Get investments going to friendly countries. So when you're talking about China plus one, when US talks about China plus one, they say friend shoring. Go, if you want to come out there, come out and go to friendly countries. It could be Vietnam, it could be India, it could be Indonesia, it could be Mexico. That's your friend shoring. But nearshoring has been happening in Mexico for now more than 20 years. As a result, many Indian investments have gone there and they're doing very well.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is from a chartered accountant, Shri Abhiram KS. Taxpayers feel burdened by compliance requirements aimed at reducing non-compliance among a few. With more transactions under TDS and TCS in GST and income tax, Can taxpayers expect fair treatment and not be penalized for others' mistakes?
Of course, you can expect. Fair treatment is something which is your right. And we'll be working towards it. Where it is unfair, I'll certainly, at my level, get involved to sort it out. And everywhere I go around to talk with income tax field formations, or when I meet up with GST officials, any attempt at unfair treatment which has come to my notice, I pull them up severely. And I also will have to say, if there are unintended harassment, a few maybe intended harassment, but I deal with both of them equally to make sure harassment will not happen. And I will respond to anybody who tells me, sorry, this is what has happened here, will you please take it up? The intention of Prime Minister Modi in having brought in faceless assessment and faceless appeal in direct tax, which is income tax, was this. And in GST too, we are slowly telling all the field formations to make sure that the work which the government is doing to decriminalize and make sure that simple worded rules and frequently asked questions are posted so that people know what is expected of them, because we go on trust-based. PM often says, I trust citizens, so our rules should speak for it. So we'll go on that route. But I welcome if you have anything in particular to let me know. Without, of course, any worries of confidentiality, I will handle it. Our intention is not to make it difficult for taxpayers. If there is any harassment, I appeal to every one of you. Do let me know. I'll take the responsibility to sort it out.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is from Dr. Shiva Kiran, co-chair for Startup 20. The question is, what steps is the government considering to address governance and leadership challenges faced by startups, including unicorns, that have led to declines in valuation and investor confidence? How does your ministry plan to strengthen governance practices within the startup sector of India?
Well, the Department of Internal Trade and Investment Policy, DPIIT, deals with it. They are the ones who categorize startups as startups. They are the ones who look into every governance reform that has to be brought in. If there is any fiscal implication, we certainly come in with an open mind and help out. But in terms of valuation, if there's something that you want to tell me, which I need to take it up, I'll certainly take it up. Do send me your views and I'll take it up from the ministry and also engage with the DPIIT.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is by Purvik Shetty. Why India is facing the poor credit rating despite having the fastest growth economy, and what are the steps taken to overcome the same?
Poor rating meaning?
I would request this person to please stand as well. Mr. Purvik Shetty. Mr. Purvik Shetty.
Is there a mic being given to him?
I request the volunteer to kindly take the mic forward. Yeah, thank you.
Hello. Namaste, ma'am. Ma'am, despite of being the fastest growing economy, India is facing like a poor credit crisis on like bonds. So, what are the steps India is taking?
You mean the credit rating by the agencies about India? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, overall.
Overall. Well, with the credit rating agencies, we engage with them to, please sit down, engage with them to give the details about our macroeconomic fundamentals as to how the system works and so on. So we present our case and we expect them to take on board the views that we've expressed. And that's a continuing exercise.
Is there any certain parameters that you can quote?
Maybe not here. I can always send it to you sometime later.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from a retired banker, Mr. Girish Chandagiri. With India's aging population set to increase significantly by 2050, what measures could the government introduce to engage and re-employ senior citizens in the public sector similar to initiatives by private companies?
Engage and re-employ, you mean? Where is the person who asked
I'd
the question?
request Mr. Girish Chandagiri if is here to kindly stand.
He's not here.
We'll be going to the next question then. This question is from Mr. Abhishek Krishna sir, that in regard to the southern coastal Karnataka and the investments being made in this sector in respect to education and IT, how does we contributing to the whole of the country's economy and its growth to become the world's third largest economy?
IT,
Like the IT sector and the education
the
and investment.
services sector is a big contributor to the GDP as it is. India's GDP derives, if I'm right, more than 60% contribution from the IT and services sector. So that contribution is a very significant contribution and largely organically done, not pushed by the government. I want to credit the IT sector and its growth. Government came in a bit later, but kept supporting the industry, but the industry grew exponentially, understanding the requirements of the global markets. And that is why it has reached a stage of 60% or more contribution to India's GDP. And I understand, and the situation and the global need for greater services will sustain that momentum even in the future.
Thank you, ma'am. So now we are here with the last question, and even I am intrigued to hear the answer to this one. This question is from Ms. Melissa Deepthi Fernandez. The question is, you have achieved remarkable success in your career, from your academic background to holding one of the highest offices in the Indian government. Could you share the key factors that contributed to your success? And what advice would you give to the students, especially those aspiring to pursue careers in public service, economics, or policy making? How can they equip themselves with the skills and mindset necessary to excel in their chosen fields?
Oh, thank you. Please sit down. But my own assessment about my performance may not be right. Well, of course, there is immense possibility. And I'm glad you're looking at, moving in that kind of a direction. Believe in yourself, be confident. And I normally have not spoken gender, but I will say, you shouldn't get discouraged by, the demands on you to be 3 times more productive than a man equal position. These are normal things. I think we should just keep going and believing in what you're doing. But of course, two or three virtues are, you should be true to yourself, you should be honest, and you shouldn't give any minimum chance for people to pick up on, you could have done better. Each time your benchmark is yours. Keep improving on your own. Needn't worry about comparing yourself with anybody else, but must be a team player.
Thank you, ma'am. So on the request of Shri Vasudev Kamaji, we'll take this last question from the audience.
So first of all, let me congratulate you, madam, for the Ayushman Bharat. We brought out that scheme for 70 years and above without any precondition. Congratulations. Regarding second thing, we have concluded that 12th bipartite settlement for bankers recently. I worked for the Union Bank of India. I retired as AGM after putting 38 years of service. Since the recently concluded 12th bipartite settlement, during my entire tenure, It never happened without going on strike. The bipartite settlement never taken place, either after expiry of the 20 months, 12 months, 15 months like that. This has happened recently without any strike. Thirdly, the pension updation. It is a very frustrating, the senior citizens. They never that happened in the history, even 25 years of banking service. Pension has not been updated. We have been pressurizing the government. We have been pressurizing the IBA, but nothing is happening. And there are a number of court cases. Supreme Court, there is one Singla case is there pending. It has not come up for hearing. It is almost 8 years now. He is no more. And people are agitated. Senior citizens are very frustrated that they cannot express their feelings. And thirdly, the medical insurance, group insurance implemented by IBA and the bankers. Earlier, the scheme was group insurance was for only one group insurance was issued to the existing as well as the retirees. Now, because the insurance premium was going up, it was started with 17,000, 4 lakh base policy plus top up, 5 lakhs. It was 1 lakh 1,000 rupees. Unbelievable. 2-3 months pension will go away for paying pension, for getting the insurance. This year, what they have done is, they taken up with the IBA and the insurance company, they clubbed the one policy for the existing as well as the retirees. The premium has come down to 40%, but they made it 4 lakh base policy, then 5 lakh top up policy. For 5 lakhs and 40% premium has come down because of the clubbing of the single policy. But the thing is, the top up, it has become costly. We are paying what we were paying last year, higher than that. What is this happening? I don't know. Thirdly,
thank you.
For the senior citizens, railway concession was given up to the corona time. Now it is being withdrawn. So the concern is really 8 lakh retired bank employees is that. Retired bank employees are there. They're all frustrated, madam. This is for your kind information.
Thank you. So it was really an amazing session today. I hope everyone really interacted and it was an enriching experience. I am extremely grateful to Madam for answering.